Y'all, it's game day. When the band is what you hearing, everybody here is cheering. All your worries disappearing, y'all, it's game day. Whether televised or streaming live in person while you're screaming, no more waiting, no more dreaming, y'all, it's game day. When the band is what you hearing, everybody here is cheering. All your worries disappearing, y'all, it's game day. Whether televised or streaming live in person while you're screaming, no more waiting, no more dreaming, y'all, it's game day.
Am I here did it again? After doing it again, after doing it again. That's
y'all, it's game day.
Okay, everybody, Aggies and Eagles, whoa, Nellyville. The Aggie faithful hosting those Eagles in Durham one last time for now, before the show goes on the road. Look out, Charlotte. All right, let's take a look at that MEAC schedule for today. All right, not the sexiest week ever, right? But there is a cherry on top with the Aggie-Eagle Classic. Norfolk State at St. Francis, Howard at Robert Morris, Merrimack Attack. I added that attack part. They're at Delaware State, and of course the Aggie-Eagle. All right, let's begin our coverage now with my man, Lute Williams. You know, me and Lute go way back. You know, our friendship is Tupac and Digital Underground old. We're both old now, but that's a story for another day. Lute with the Aggies as they get ready for the Eagles.
The North Carolina A&T Aggies are undergoing final preparations behind me for Saturday's 6 p.m. game at Truist Stadium against rival North Carolina Central University. The Aggies come in at 0-2 for the first time in a decade, and they will be facing the Eagles for the first time being a member of the Big South Conference. The Aggies will get back quarterback Jalen Fowler, as well as some other injured players, as they take on this big rivalry. 2 years ago when the two teams met, the last time they met, the Aggies devastated the Eagles 54-0 in the first year under head coach Trey Oliver. So this time, the Eagles will be looking for revenge.
I'm going to stick my neck out and say perhaps the best 2 weeks of practice we've had this season thus far. Week one, we got a lot of fundamental stuff done and put focus more on us rather than a ball game. And this week we turned that attention, directly to Central.
Now, playing against a rival, is there anything you have to do special? I know you said if you got to get up for this game, there's a problem.
It's a problem. You have to get up.
But do you see the enthusiasm playing a rival like Central?
Absolutely, and I think the energy has been fantastic throughout the entire week. Actually, both weeks. And the focus have been there. So those are the two things I'm most pleased with.
So when you look at Central, what are the things that most concern you? I know they say they have a potent running attack. They have about 4 guys. What do you think you're going to have to do to stop them, slow them down?
Penetration is always good, versus the run. And then if we tackle, we're going to be fine. No, we're going to be better than fine.
Do you think that was one of the situations against Duke? Was the tackling was not up to par?
We just were bad, and up front, on the back end, defensively, we just were bad, period.
Okay. What would you say to Aggie fans they're going to be seeing this Saturday? First home game, first game against Central. If you as a Big South member, what can they look forward to?
A high energy, a very physical ball game. We're gonna get after them, and it's time for us to show who we are. So we're looking forward to that opportunity.
You didn't play against Furman or Duke. What's your attitude coming into this game against North Carolina Central?
I'm itching. Just itching. Like, I'm ready to go to war. Like, right now, the only thing I'm visualizing is what plays I can make, what plays going to be easy, what plays I'm going to have to work through. Just plays, just film. Automatically just doing my job. That's the only thing I think about right now.
Tell me why you've been out for the 2 games and how you've been able to recover from that.
Due to COVID, I had to sit out because of the COVID protocol. I tested positive the week before Furman. And the process of getting back, I had to work through 2 weeks of protocol. Good thing we had that bye week, so I had a good week to get my lungs back together. But all in all, I'm top tip shape, ready to go.
What did you think about the performance against both Duke? I know you sat out, but what did you think about having the right staff? And what do you think about it? What's the attitude of the team coming into the Central game?
It's always hard to lose something, but we always take positive as our losses, you know what I'm saying? And the one thing I know, we fighters, you know what I'm saying? We're ready to go to war. It's just that chips just didn't fall where we lay. And the odds stacked against us right now. Everything right now riding on this one game. We ain't thinking about nothing else but this one game. Central the only thing we thinking about. So you know, they're getting all of us. All our attention is on them.
So your attitude reflect the attitude of the team, you think?
The whole team. Hey, we were one mind, and one mind, we ready to go to war. I'm talking about we locked in till that thing hit 00 come around. I don't know, 3 hours after 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that Duke game was one I've been looking forward to. I always wanted to play against an FBS opponent. You know, I really wanted to just be there for my team and try to get that bounce back after Furman, but sadly I wasn't able to do that.
How have you recovered? What kind of shape are you in for this game against Central?
Oh, I'm 100% now. I'm good now.
And were you? What happened in terms of not being able to play? Was it just getting shaken up from the Furman game?
It was a play in the fourth quarter where a guy, his helmet hit me in my lower back, and it kind of like knocked my mobility down. And over the weekend, I couldn't turn that well. You know, I need my body to turn when I'm throwing. I just couldn't throw throughout the week.
Okay. So what's the attitude, your attitude as well as the team's attitude going into this rivalry game against Central?
Win by any means, you know, and it's Central, so it's a little bit, it's something else added there, a little animosity, you know, it's our rival, but I mean, we're going to treat it just like any other week, so to speak, when it comes to practice and just preparing.
And what do you expect out of the offense? What do you guys want to do on the offense that maybe you haven't gotten done so far this year?
We want to be explosive, be very efficient, be very explosive, and we just want to show everybody what we can really do.
So that's what's happening right now with the game. But every good story needs context. Enter our Wally Pitt, who takes a look back at the modern history of the Aggie-Eagle Classic.
In life, as well as in the game of football, change is inevitable. So too is true for the Aggie-Eagle Classic. The football rivalry between North Carolina Central and North Carolina A&T dates back to 1924 and is still finding ways to evolve after 97 years. And the 2021 matchup finds itself in between the conference rivalry phase of its recent past and the Bank of America Stadium hosted Duke's Mayo Bowl of its future. And during what we call the game day era, we've been blessed to be on the sidelines for some of the most iconic Aggie-Eagle Classic moments in recent memory.
Twitter don't win you no games. Stop all that BS.
Memories that began with one fumble that led to a 5-way split of the MEAC championship.
HBCU Gameday at O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium here on the campus of North Carolina Central, and a big win for North Carolina Central over North Carolina A&T. He fumbles at the half-yard line.
Right, yeah, you know, he's a great young player, 2 great seasons in a row, but he's going to remember that one until they get back here next year, because that's where their automatic title went.
And when we linked up with Tariq Cohen to shoot our Beyond the Yard documentary in 2016, he didn't shy away from talking about that play, as he was already hyped to get back to Durham for his final Aggie-Eagle Classic 3 months later.
That definitely, I think, was the lowest moment in my A&T career so far. Because I just felt like I had the opportunity to make that play, and that was my first fumble of the whole season. So that's why it really ate at me. And one thing we preach at A&T is ball security, because you can't play without the ball. So me trying to put the team on my back and then stumbling at the finish line, literally at the goal line, like 2 yards away from the goal line, it really hurt me deep. And to do it, and I told my seniors that I was gonna win the game for them, so that's why it really hurt me, because I couldn't get it for them.
Enrique and the Aggies came into O'Kelly-Riddick Stadium nationally ranked with only 1 loss, while NCCU also came in ranked with a 9-2 record. The winner was headed to the Celebration Bowl, and the energy at the 2016 Aggie-Eagle Classic was something special. And so were the Eagles on that chilly mid-November evening in Durham. Both Darrell McClain and Malcolm Bell rushed for over 100 yards and a combined 5 touchdowns on the night. Khalil Stinson made the You Got Moss segment of NFL pregame with this crazy one-handed grab.
He threw it back shoulder, and I just threw my hand up, and God just caught it. Yeah, God, he was in me all day. I've been praying all week. I just want to thank him.
And while Tariq had almost 100 yards and a touchdown, the ghost of Aggie-Eagle's past reared its ugly head again as Cohen's legendary MEAC career ended with a 3rd straight loss to their rivals in Durham.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We're going home with this one. Let's go to the room with us, baby. We're going to sleep with it tonight.
And coming into the 2017 season, NCCU was looking like the team to beat in the MEAC.
Come in our house and not leaving here with a win. Yes, sir. No wins tonight. We finish and we start the same way. Break it down. Let's go.
While A&T came in with question marks around how they could replace the production of Tariq Cohen. But by the time the Aggie-Eagle Classic came around on November 18th, the Eagles were out of the MEAC championship picture, and the Aggies were undefeated, 10-0 and looking to cap off the regular season with some revenge on their arch nemesis. And we were smack dab in the middle of the action when it popped off at midfield during pregame. And the animosity was on 10 for the 2017 Aggie-Eagle Classic. On the field and in the tailgate as well.
We don't care about mercy today. Got to fry them dirty birds. Got to fry them dirty birds, baby.
We eating the birds, baby. It ain't just Thanksgiving. We eating the birds.
And an absolutely packed Lindsay Street Dog Pound witnessed one of the hardest hitting Aggie-Eagle Classics in recent memory. Plus, this was the game where Elijah Bell officially became E-Bell the GOAT. Breaking the single season record for receiving touchdowns at A&T. And the students packed the track as A&T turned all the way up after completing an unbeaten regular season by beating NCCU 24-10. And as the Classic moved back to the Bull City in 2018, the Aggies had gotten their first win over the Eagles in 4 years, and even the mascots were going back and forth.
NCCU continues its groundbreaking health disparities research by focusing on diseases that hit minorities the hardest, such as pancreatic cancer. With only 8.5% of diagnosed pancreatic cancer patients surviving past 5 years, there's still much work to be done.
And while A&T came in 7-2, needing a win plus help from Bethune-Cookman in the Florida Classic to make it to the Celebration Bowl, the Eagles had nothing to play for but revenge. And in the Aggie-Eagle Classic, you can always throw out the records, right?
Let's go, baby. All day.
All the smoke, I want it, I need it. Where they at? Where they at? They scared.
All of it.
My mama, they scared.
All of it. All that smoke, boy. It's RBU around here. We ain't tiptoeing. We running through faces, man. Come on.
And while we thought we were going to get another grinded out Aggie-Eagle Classic, North Carolina A&T came into Durham like Debo on Red's bike. +500 yards of total offense, 47 yards allowed, -25 rushing yards, and all the smoke the Eagles could handle.
This ain't no rivalry no more. This ain't no rivalry no more. Look at this. Look at the score. Look at the score. 45-0. This ain't no rivalry no more. I got more of them, John. Twitter don't win you no games. Stop all that BS.
And by the time the clock hit zeros, it was 45-0, and all A&T needed was for Bethune-Cookman to get that dub.
Hey, Bethune, let's go. Let's go, Bethune.
Another Celebration Bowl title later, and North Carolina A&T was officially the big dogs on the MEAC block.
6 of these coming up. 6 of them. Don't never count on A&T.
North Carolina Central had fallen on a couple of tough seasons, while the Aggies had lifted another couple trophies. And on a cold, rainy night in November 2019, unbeknownst to everyone, the final Aggie-Eagle Classic with both teams as members of the MEAC was another coronation of North Carolina A&T's dominance of the past 3 seasons. The muddy beatdown that the Aggies put on the Eagles was an emphatic period on A&T's tenure in the MEAC. The 54-0 mollywop featured 12 total yards allowed by the Aggie D, 123 yards and 2 scores from Jermaine Martin. Elijah Bell ends his career with 3 catches, 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. And after beating Central by a combined score of 99-0 in the last 2 seasons, the Eagle wins of 2015 and 2016 felt like a lifetime ago.
Hey, back in the A with it. 3 times I'm going back in the A with it. You feel me? Ain't no one doing what we do. Ain't no one doing what we do.
And heading into the 2021 Classic, North Carolina A&T is now a Big South school, and NCCU is looking to reclaim the top spot in the MEAC. And with the Aggies off to their first 0-2 start since 2010, and NCCU coming in at 2-1 with an upset win over Alcorn in the MEAC SWAC Challenge, could this be the year that the Aggie-Eagle Classic sees another shift in momentum?
Okay, HBCU Game Day Saturday rolls on. Let's take it back to the present. Let's hear from Trey Oliver, head coach, North Carolina Central, as he gets his squad ready for today's big game.
You know, they say it's hard to get your team up 2 weeks in a row for big games. And being that we didn't really play as well as I would have liked last week, hopefully it shouldn't be a problem with us getting up for those Aggies. But the guys know what this rivalry is about, the matchup is. And we as a coaching staff have to do a good job making sure the guys are prepared. And again, thermostat mentality. When we get there to Greensboro, we can't, set it on 70 degrees. We can't get too high, can't get too low. As far as the matchup, they're a championship team, and they've been able to repeat their performance and for the past 3-4 years or however many it's been. Coach Washington and his staff, I can't say enough about them. They are a well-coached football team. They're a physical football team, and they're a confident football team. So first and foremost, it starts with their running back. We have to stop the run and keep the ball in front of us. We know they're going to like to take shots downfield with the Corey Banks kid and the other young man, the tall kid. I'm sorry, I can't call his name right now. But we got to stop the run first and foremost and keep the ball in front of us.
What went into the decision of starting the freshman at quarterback? And if you can tell us, what's the status of Richard for the game Saturday?
He was hurt. That's why we started Walker Harris. We had quite a few guys out for this past week. We had several linemen out, the starting offensive linemen that were out, couple of skilled guys that were out. So we kind of got banged up against Marshall, and we had to go with the freshmen. I had all the confidence in the world with them, with going with them. I think Davies came in for one play when Walker's helmet came off. So he only had an opportunity to play one play. So right now he's day by day. I don't know if he'll be able to play this weekend against North Carolina A&T or not. We'll see. We'll see what it's looking like throughout the week.
Yeah, I saw when he went in when his I didn't know it was a helmet camera. I thought you just put him in to throw that long pass, see how he would do. So that you weren't tempted, or were you tempted to put him in as you were behind late?
Well, I didn't think the quarterback play was the issue, and so we were not going to play him many reps at all. We were probably going to go with Quest Powell if Walker Harris couldn't handle the load. But I thought Walker managed the game well. He protected the football, but we had to help him out. I think we had to block a little longer up front. We had way too many drops throughout the game. Guys wide open, and didn't help the quarterback out. So when you have a freshman quarterback in there, especially in a big game like that, you got to help him. Make the tough catches, make the easy catches, to get him some confidence and settle him down in an environment like that.
And lastly, if I may, Karen, Coach, everybody has geared up to stop Jermaine Martin, and so far Duke and Furman have been able to do that. What do you think they're going to come with differently to try to get him and shake him loose? I only think he's had maybe one run for over 10 yards in those 2 games.
I don't think that they're going to do anything different. When you're a good football team and you're a championship football team, I think you just try to do what you do and do it the best you can. I don't think that they're going to come in here and have a new offensive scheme or do anything. They're going to try to get better at what they do, and they're just going to try to run the football on us. And we know that we have to be physical up front, and that's going to be huge in this game right here. We have to be physical, and we have to win up front.
All right, moving over to the SWAC now. Let's look at that schedule. Delta State at Jackson State, Grambling and Prairie View. It's State Fair Classic time. Got a live report coming up 1 second. Hold on for that. Tuskegee, Alabama A&M in Mobile today, and Bethune-Cookman at Alabama State. Texas Southern at Rice. Sunday matchup has Southern and Mississippi Valley State getting it on in Jackson. A big Mississippi weekend. M-I, crooked letter, crooked letter, crooked letter. I have to say that every time I spell it, I swear. And in case you missed it, Thursday night in the SWAC, if you went to bed early like I did, you might have thought that UAPB just rolled over Alcorn State. But the Braves come back from 19 points down and pull one out. Okay, let's get down to Dallas now. It is the Texas State Fair Classic, and one of the most iconic games of the HBCU schedule. We missed it last year, but now it's back in its full glory, and it's Doc is in his full glory. Dr. Kenyatta Cavill. Let me see if I get this right, Doc. You're in Dallas right now in a jacuzzi? Are you mimosa? What is going on here, Doc?
A little bit of all the above. You're correct. I'm outside of Dallas. Best friend in college, Alan, is in Dallas, so couldn't get to the Bahamas, as you see, as we took our trip in. I said, well, next big thing, let me go see him in Dallas for the State Fair Classic. So before I put in all that work, as you know we do on Saturdays and throughout the week, I said, let me relax, chillaxing, as they say. And I want to get it on. Somebody's going to take home the trophy today. And so if it happens to be the Panthers, I might have to pull out the cigar and make sure it gets right, that we celebrate, come back to the pool and relax a little bit and partake in the celebration. As Prairie View has won 3 straight, that's 6 of the last 10. They started winning after Grambling dominated the series for like 16, 17 years in a ridiculous format. Just crowning, and then finally Prairie View broke through in 2009, and that's when Prairie View won the SWAC championship game that year. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on.
I'm just going to look at the crew over here. You guys see this, right? You guys see Dr. Kenyatta Cavill just, in the jacuzzi. All right. What is the atmosphere like, jacuzzi aside?
I just had to do it. I just had to do it.
At the State Fair Classic, Prairie View fans, Grambling fans, there's a lot of history there with the coaches. Dooley used to work under Coach Fobbs. What is the vibe like there in Big D for people who haven't been there before?
Coach Fobb hasn't lost to Coach Dooley Coach Fobb. Dooley hasn't lost since he came over from Grambling as the offensive coordinator. So he dominated the series. That included last year when they moved it to the spring. They moved it from the State Fair Classic because they had, the big Texas freeze that everybody heard about, obviously. Really, not only took down the electricity, it also busted pipes and different things in that old stadium, which goes back to Prairie View and Wiley College playing back in 1925 when Langston and Wiley College played in it, including my cousin, Big Ben Calvo Sr. as the halfback there. Fullback played in that game. So a lot of history that goes back. When they paired up Prairie View and Grambling, Grambling dominated the series. But just recently, the question is can Prairie View continue to get it done? Juwan Pass, as you know, has been the newcomer of the SWAC in terms of 2 of the last 3 weeks, including last week when they defeated Houston Baptist. Grambling has struggled a little bit in terms of the offensive side of the ball. They did get that victory over Tennessee State. But it doesn't matter who dominates this series, if you would. At least the first half is always close. And the last couple of games have been that way, where a team might jump out and then the other team fights back and it just goes down the stretch. So a lot of energy. It'll be interesting to see, though, as this will be the first time the game is back since COVID-19, which dominates everything around here, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see just what the crowd looks like, how many people coming out. The big component of this, as we call it, the State Fair Classic, is the State Fair. And so a lot of folks, when they get in there and they buy a ticket to the game, they get a ticket to the fair. So they can either come early, go to the fair. Some people stay around late and go to the fair afterwards. So it's a big deal for a lot of folks in the Dallas area. They go out, especially all the HBCU connected people. And as you know, Grambling and Prairie View faithful come over and check out.
Do we know who these teams are yet? It's still so early in the season. Prairie View did get a big win last weekend. Grambling's been out of conference for the most part. They did get the win against Tennessee State. Do you have a sense that you even know who either of these teams are yet?
I think we're still figuring it out. It's early. You know, it's 1/3 of the season in, and we're starting to get into conference play. You know, Prairie View has that Labor Day Classic with Texas Southern University. They dominated that game, and so a lot of people and connected with the Panthers got their hopes up, and it wasn't to be as they played the Incarnate Word that dominated that game. Although offensively, Prairie View still put up some numbers. They just couldn't score in that and had far too many turnovers. The defensive side of Prairie View is flying around the ball, which is similar to Grambling. So both defenses should be solid in this game. But the question in a lot of ways is what's going to take place on the offensive side of the ball with Ernest Walker for Grambling if he's the chosen quarterback to play in that. Can they run the ball? You know, it goes back to that old saying, in the trenches. Who's going to dominate the trenches? On the defensive side of Prairie View, you got Trey Smith that leads the team in tackles, so he's been playing really well. Jason Dumas, you know, in his senior year is playing some really, surprisingly, while people focus on Prairie View with Coach Dooley on the offensive side of the ball, they have a lot of players back on the defense. You know, 8 returning starters. They lost the big man, the transfer, but still they're playing really solid on defense overall. So it's interesting to see, is that going to be the tell of the tape tonight when they play at 4 p.m.?
Well, Doc, as we continue on with the rest of the show, my man, take us out, at least for your segment. Go ahead and kick back one time and just show us how you're going to relax for the next couple of hours.
Well, yeah, I'm going to relax right here, and I'm going to continue. I'm going to hold off on the cigar. We got to see. That's the Trover cigar, you know. Slow burns, Waco, in terms of going to treat me right there. But I'm going to relax for a little while and have my drink, you know, my morning orange juice. They say, you know, you got to get right. And so I'm just going to relax here until it's time to go pick up the media passes. And then, you know, we'll appropriately go to work as we do. But great evening. A lot of good friends that you hadn't seen in a while up in this Dallas area. I get to check out them and just kind of check to make sure everybody's going well. And then, you know, properly, I'm going to slide through Waco on the way back to Houston and check on my parents.
Charles Bishop is not living this life right now. I think Coach Sanders has him running pregame sprints as we speak.
I see you, Charles. I went up to you. You said Miami. Yeah, it was nice. I saw you doing your thing in Miami. But this is Dallas. I'm just letting you know this is my turn.
No, you never know what you're going to see at HBCU Game Day. He's formerly the artist formerly known as Dr. Kenyatta Cavill. Just call him OJ the Juice Man.
Cheers.
Kind of hard to top that, so let's just move on. Okay, until otherwise noted, Alabama A&M, your defending champions in the SWAC, but playing out of conference today versus a signature college program in the state of Alabama, but a D2 program we're talking here, Tuskegee University. They're going to ball and parlay, win or lose, down in Mobile today. Now, it might be a Division II squad in Tuskegee, but they've knocked out their fair share of SWAC opponents. And I'm not talking about your daddy's SWAC. I'm talking about in recent years, something that Coach Connell Maynard is well aware of, and he knows that Coach Slater will have his boys ready.
Well, it was a great environment. You know, we played Miles. We had a nice crowd, and it was a big game. Now we got Tuskegee this week in Mobile. And it's a challenge, semi-classic game. And so Coach Slater's, you know, it's Coach Slater, man. He always does a great job. Those guys are never going to quit. They're going to play you hard. They're going to be tough. And he's done a great job, had a tremendous career. I played him when I was at Winston-Salem State, and I had a good football team, and they played us tough then. So we're expecting the same thing this week. Anytime you got a Coach Slater coach team, they're going to be prepared in all 3 phases, and it's going to be a football game because they're not going to quit. But we look forward to playing these in-state rivalries, playing those guys, and keeping it going because it's great for their university, our university, HBCU, and the state of Alabama.
Okay, Jackson State will be back in the vet for the first time this spring, since the spring, right? They've been on the road, and it's no big secret that Jackson State, a little boost in the run game, might make the Tigers a darn near perfect team. And maybe throwing a little more accuracy on the field goal kicking, and you'd be there, right? But let's stick to the run game. That is something, an area of improvement that Coach Sanders is very, very, very aware of.
Don't you think if we could have run, we would have ran? Don't you think if we could have ran, we would have ran? You think you in the stand saying, you know what? They should run. And we ain't thought about that. You know, those headsets we weren't doing the game, we're actually talking to this person, this person, this person. And I'm saying the same thing. We couldn't. Running game was dismal. I mean, what makes me mad, my brother, we have some good backs, man. The linemen got to want it. They got to believe it. They got to feel it. They got to embody it. And guess what we have tomorrow? Inside run. Guess what we have on Wednesday? Inside run. Guess what we have on Thursday and Friday? Inside run. So we're going to run this ball. We're going to, somewhere or another, we're going to learn to knuckle down and run this football, because if we don't, we put too much pressure on the passing game. We're one-dimensional. So all they got to do is drop back into the zones and stop what we're trying to do. Passing-wise, we put a tremendous lot of pressure on the quarterback. He can handle it, but that's a lot of pressure on him, especially as a freshman.
Okay, did anyone else notice in the ULM game that Shedeur Sanders showed some resemblance to his father? Not with his speed, but with his style. Did you notice that late pitch, that kind of spontaneous pitch out on a scramble? And he's really tried to shake and bake when he gets out of the pocket and make some things happen. But I'm not quite sure Coach Sanders saw things the way I did.
He's trying to make it happen. He's trying to make it happen, but he runs nothing like me. That's from the other side of his family. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And that promise you, his running ability has nothing to do with me. We established that early on when he was a kid. I saw that when he first started walking. That ain't me. That ain't me. His legs are too thick up top, and at the bottom they kind of thick as well. You know, mine is like an upside down Pepsi bottle. When you see small calves on a horse or anything, you better bet on him. He ain't built like that. He built totally different. But he's I'm proud of it. You know, I'm proud of what he's accomplishing, what he's trying to do, and how he's seeing the game.
All right, good stuff there. I mean, small calves, betting on horses, that's good advice, right? All right, moving on in the SWAC. Southern, I got sacked trying to say SWAC. Southern Valley in Jackson on Sunday. They haven't played in the last 5 years or so. Coach Dancy knows you've already circled Southern as a win. He knows that, but he says, those Devils, closer than you think.
Right now, Southern is not a familiar face for us. We haven't played Southern in 4 years, maybe 5 years. So this will be the first time playing Southern in 5 years. But every game to us is another game. It's a hard game. It's hard to win football games. So we're gonna prepare for them like we would Stephen F. Austin. We don't take anybody for granted. We don't underestimate no team. We understand what teams feel about us, and I'm quite sure. I think I heard Coach Falls from Grambling say a lot of teams circle us on the schedule. We understand it. We just got to do better preparing and understanding who we are, what we can do to win games. Like I said, that's not giving up points in three phases of the game, and eliminate big plays and not turning the ball over. That put us in that changes that game. You know, giving up 21 points of turnovers and a special team punt return and 2 for touchdowns and interceptions. We change the whole ball game when we don't do that. So we know what we got to do. We understand what we need to do as a staff, and that better prepares us to put us in position to win games. That's the bottom line. We just got to do better, and I know we can do better. I know we got a better team than what we've shown these last 2 games. I wholeheartedly know that, but I have to be better, and I have to send my message better.
All right, Coach Dancy, hang on in there, my man. All right, let's move on to the CIAA. If you're one of those folks that, maybe likes to overlook Shawan as a CIAA school and don't really throw them in the mix, well, this might not be the year that works out, because they're looking pretty good. St. Aug will get a shot at Shawan today. Shaw on the road at Lincoln. Virginia Union in the Queen City at Johnson C. Smith. Elizabeth City State makes the trip to Winston-Salem State. Bowie State at Livingstone. And the game of the week just might be Virginia State at Fayetteville State. I remember about 6 or 7 years ago, I was in Fayetteville. Virginia State won one as time expired at FSU with a field goal. Maybe we'll get some of that magic and electricity tonight. So Winston-Salem State back at home for the first time since 2009. 2019, that would have been a long time, right? Both the Rams and the Vikings coming off losses against MEAC schools. Winston-Salem State had a little better time against North Carolina Central than Elizabeth City State did against Norfolk State. But either way you look at it, both teams looking for their first win of the season.
Coach Jones, I've known him for years. I actually played against him in the National Football League. Good coach, good coaching staff. They are a fighting, scrappy team. It's a team that we can't take for granted. One of the things we don't want to do is have a drop-off from a competition standpoint, thinking we're supposed to beat someone when, you know, any given Saturday you can be beat. So with that being said, they've shown some good things. Obviously, they hadn't scored as much as they would have wanted to, but they have scored. In the red zone, they're 50%. So that's pretty good, believe it or not, when you talk red zone statistically. If every time you get in there, you got a chance of scoring, and they've been in there 8 times and they've scored 4. So statistically, they're doing some good things. It's just hitting statistics. Although they haven't won, they'll be like us trying to get their first win. And what wouldn't be a better day for them to get up like we supposedly done against NCCU. So hopefully we don't get in that trap. But good team, good hard working, good coaching staff. We just think, now's our time to turn the corner, and it just happens to be Elizabeth City.
All right, let's take a cruise around this week in the SIAC. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to This Week in the SIAC. I'm Tolly Carr. We had an amazing slate of games from week 2, so let's jump right into it. Morehouse still undergoing renovations at their home stadium, so they welcome Miles to their spot on the other side of town in Atlanta. The SIAC opener for both teams in one of the fiercest rivalries in the conference. Highlights brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Morehouse and Miles, you know these two will talk that talk all week long. Playing on Saturday at Lakewood in Atlanta while their stadium undergoes renovations at Morehouse. Miles up 6-0 early, but here comes Morehouse and Santo Dunn. If scat back was a person, change of direction, stiff arm, out of bounds at the 1-inch line. Next play, that's an easy score for Dunn. Morehouse goes up 7-6, end of the first quarter. Tip drill, Marquise Pride coming back to the ball, and looky what he found. But the drive stalls as the Miles defense gets stout in the second quarter. The Tigers have to punt it away. Golden Bears going to work. Claude Newell with the play action. Finds Cohen Hudson, his only catch of the day, but he makes it count. A 24-yard touchdown. Miles up 13-7, just over 9 minutes to go until the half. Morehouse finds some tempo with this run game late in the second quarter and chips his way down the field. Frank Bailey Jr. seals the deal with this 2-yard touchdown, and Morehouse with the 14-13 lead going into the break. All right, it's halftime. You know it goes down. The Purple Marching Machine, the House of Funk, go to war. Miles had the manpower, but Morehouse had plenty of funk and their secret weapon, mahogany. Good times at halftime. All right, opening kickoff of the third quarter. Frank Bailey Jr. Watch the moves. Watch him absorb the tackle. Straight mat. No dice. The drive ends in a missed field goal. Miles going to work on offense again. Gutsy call on 4th and 3. Newell hits Jai Andrews, a freshman from Birmingham. Miles back on top. Look at that score, 20-14. Christopher Brown back in his hometown in Atlanta. He gets the first down. Golden Bears finish off the drive with the law firm of Newell, Andrews, and Associates. Look at the extra effort on the reach. It's a game of inches, so they say, and that is a touchdown. All right, fam, get your rally rags right now. Come on, I see you supporting Miles. Game of inches. Check out the Michael Jackson toe raise on the sideline. Price out there making money moves, trying to keep the Maroon Tigers in it. Oh, but look at the defense. No one puts a hat on Jalen McWhite, who puts the hit on Michael Sims and promptly throws up the hooks. The wind starting to leave the sails for Morehouse. 4th down and forever. Come with me, Hail Mary. Nope, not happening there. Turnover on downs, it goes to Miles. Miles marches back down the field late in the 4th quarter and finishes off the drive with a 2-yard Kingston Davis run, man. I mean, it was a gauntlet run with their schedule, too. The first 2 weeks of the year playing against some stiff competition in the SWAC. Miles College opens up play in the SIAC with a 37-14 win over Morehouse. Miles, 258 yards rushing, 207 yards passing, a balanced attack, and a big road win for Miles College.
We came in with the mindset that we need to put points on the board, and the way we got to do that is establishing a run and then coming with the pass. And we did an excellent job of that today. We did an excellent job all week in practice, and it just led to having this type of game today.
Okay, Allen, the world is not ready for you. I don't think, man. Another 4th quarter game winner in back-to-back weeks, this time with 1 second remaining. Quarterback David Wright connected with Jamal Jones for 55 yards. He laterals it to Shamar Nelson at the 2-yard line, and Nelson runs in, ties the game at 34-all. Allen scores later on a walk-off 2-point conversion. Man, that's good stuff. Tuskegee got its first win of the season. Edward Waters made his first trip to the shed, but it was Tuskegee. They got to ball and parlay last Saturday. They get the 23-6 win over EWU. Clark Atlanta slow out of the gate against Shorter University. The Panthers fall at home 38-17. CAU did outscore Shorter 14-10 in the second half. Maybe something to build on with that moving forward.
Kick is up and kick is good.
Lane College in Fort Valley. Fort Valley State sitting pretty at 24-14 after 3 quarters, but Lane got a shot in the arm from backup quarterback Michael Huntley. He was 9 of 11 passing with 2 4th quarter touchdowns, and the Lane defense held stout at the end for a narrow but strong 27-24 win against Fort Valley State. Okay, our players of the week for week 3. Savannah State with a tight win over Benedict, and Devon Gibbons awarded offensive player of the week. Teammate Kenneth Lockhart, the special teams player of the week. Mitchell Smiley, you know what he is. He's all smiles for Miles, defensive player of the week. And Keenan Webb, your newcomer of the week in the SIAC. Still early in the year, right? But it is time to slowly start paying attention to those football standings. So you watch those right now, and there'll be a pop quiz afterwards. Okay, number 3 team in the East. Quick. You gotta pay attention, folks. All right, let's get that tailgate menu right for the weekend. Which games will you be hitting up, maybe? We got the Circle City Classic in Naptown, Benedict and Kentucky State, Tuskegee taking on arguably the best team in the SWAC, Alabama A&M. It's going down in Mobile. Things don't get any easier for Morehouse at Savannah State. Can Fort Valley solve the late game dramatics of Allen? The road show continues for Central State. They are at Miles College. Lane with the hopes of bringing the pain to Edward Waters, but EWU will be ready to put on for the hometown. Jacksonville, Clark Atlanta at Albany State. All right, bump, set, spike. It was one of my best days last week. Catching some volleyball here in Atlanta. Clark Atlanta was hosting Albany State on the road, obviously. Now, ASU won this 3-1, but that 3rd set was the best one of the evening. I'm talking about long rallies, some diving saves, a couple of meet me at the net moments. It's going down. It was the only set that the Lady Panthers won that night, but they had to take it by 2. Really great stuff from both squads. Congrats to Albany State. Got the win last Thursday. All right, our players of the week for volleyball: Kia Thomas, Jalen Roberts, Kiera Brooks, and Destiny. It was Destiny, baby. Destiny Langston. All right, cross country. Does anyone have as much spring in their step as Spring Hill? Mary Elizabeth Shelton placed third recently at the Falcon Classic. Will Tate, he had a top 20 finish at the meet as well. So way to go there. All right, that's it for this week in the SIAC. We'll leave you with a taste of the Purple Marching Machine. We got to represent the band life. All right? We'll see you here next week. Before we get out of here, a reminder that we are debuting our coverage of the HBCU Esports League, brought to you by our friends at Community. A little NBA 2K21. We're going to show you week 5. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be on our Facebook platform. It's going to debut Saturday afternoon, this Saturday. But this, if you're watching on Facebook, you could be watching in the year 2025. Who knows? But if you're kind of in real time today, NBA 2K21 HBCU Esports League, brought to you by our friends at Community. Make sure you check that out. Hey, a lot of fun today on HBCU Game Day Saturday. We hung out at the jacuzzi with Dr. Cavill. I honestly, as executive producer, did not see that coming. But you never know. All right, wherever you are today, at the game, at the cookout, or just hanging around the house, make sure you have a good time. And thank you so much for your company here at HBCU Game Day. For all the latest scores, news, updates, videos, photos, hang out with us. HBCUGameday.com. We'll check you out over there. Enjoy your Saturday. I'm Tolly Carr from Atlanta. We'll see you soon.